Now, here's tonight's lineup on the Orioles Radio Network.
Sunny, not a cloud in the sky, the temperature in the low 60s. Field condition report brought to you by Miss Utility here in San Diego. Call Miss Utility before you dig every dig. That's 1-800-257-7777. Now, the first pitch brought to you by IBEW. For quality electrical work done right the first time, call IBEW, Local 24 and their contractors. Here's Joe Angel.
All right, Fred, here's Lugo as they are wasting no time in San Diego tonight. And Lugo takes the first offering, and it's a ball. He called that a ball. And now Lugo swings and he fouls it back. And now the count to Julio even up at 1-1.
Now, for more information, go to IBEW, local24.org. IBEW, the right choice, and we'll give you the hometown lineup momentarily.
Well, for the Orioles, Lugo, Tejada, and Markakis, the top three, against left-hander Clayton Richard, who delivers 1-1. And there's a shot, one hopper out to short. And there's Hairston, and he throws the ball away into the camera while behind first base. So Lugo is going to wind up at second base on a throwing error. It should be a two-base throwing error. Jerry Hairston came up throwing, and boy, he made a horrendous throw. He did not come within, I would say, maybe 10 feet of Gonzalez on the bag at first.
And almost like he had a sidearm throw over there with a lot of action away from the first baseman Gonzalez, who just stood on the bag almost in disbelief that throw was so bad.
And now here's Miguel Tejada to hit with a runner at second base and nobody out. Boy, you talk about an unforced error. That's a good example right there. He had plenty of time, but just made a horrendous throw. And now Tejada takes a fastball right down the gut. It's a call strike.
Hey, here's the hometown lineup brought to you by the Schmidt Baking Company, your hometown baker. We've already seen Julio Lugo reach on the air. Miggy is at the plate. Nick Markakis will follow. Ty Wigginton will be at first base. Luke Scott in left field. Adam Jones in center field. Matt Wieters behind the plate catching. Cesaro Torres is the shortstop. And Kevin Millwood bats ninth, the pitcher.
And now Tejada takes a strike right there at the knees. Well, Tejada with a chance to pick up an early RBI. But now in a hole at no balls and two strikes. Chase Headley is backed up and back of the bag at third base. Hairston and Eckstein up the middle, backed up with a runner at second base. Adrian Gonzalez behind the bag at first, and the left-hander Richard at the belt, and he will look the base runner Lugo back to the bag at second.
Could be a difficult time for hitters right now because, as we said, brilliant sunshine, but also lots of shadows making their way in evidence across the playing field.
And now the left-hander sets again, and he delivers to Miguel. This one kind of backed him off the plate. Fastball inside. 1-2 now to Tejada. Miguel comes in with a batting average of .276. He's hit 4 home runs. He's knocked in 23. Against the National League, Tejada this season hitting .333 interleague. 14 hits in 42 at-bats. Swings in the sense of a little pop of the shallow right. Coming on is Venable. He'll get there to make the catch easily. And that's one down. So Tejada is unable to get Lugo to third. And with one away now, it'll bring up Nick Markakis. Now it'll be left-hander against left-hander. Of course, Markakis this season has excelled at hitting against left-hand pitching. Comes in with a batting average of .375 against left-hand pitching. And for the season, he's hitting only .303. So Markakis this season has owned the left-handers. And right now, Nick has a chance to pick up an RBI in the first inning. He's knocked in just 21 runs this season. There goes Lugo, big jump, going to third. The pitch is low. There'll be no throw, as Torrealba had no chance, so he simply held the ball. We saw Lugo try to steal third base in the ball game last night with a 1-0 lead. And that time he got such a huge jump that he had that bag stolen easily.
And last night it was Torres as a right-handed batter that interfered with Torrealba trying to throw to third base.
And that time there was no throw at all. So here comes the pitch. And Markakis will take low and outside for a ball. Well, Lugo, his 5th steal. And Lugo getting a chance to play of late. And he is now at third base. Here comes the pitch. Fastball in there for a call strike on the inside.
And it was Lugo's little bloop fly ball that caused problems for Scott Hairston in the 9th inning last night that gave that Oriole lead a 1-run lead, only to see it frittered away in the bottom of the 9th in a loss.
Well, Markakis waits now. And here comes the pitch. As the fly ball hit the deep left, that'll drive in a run. Backing up as Scott Hairston makes the catch. Here comes Lugo. Here's the throw, much too late. In fact, it's cut off at third. So Lugo scores, and it's a 1-0 Oriole lead on a 2-base throwing error, a stolen base, and a fly ball out. So Nick Markakis picks up his 22nd RBI, and now the base is empty. Here's Wigginton with 2 outs. Yeah, the pitch on the way to Wigginton. This one bounces in, 1 ball and no strikes. This left-hander Clayton Richard, his record coming in 4-3. This being his 14th start. He's got a real good earned run average at 2.71 in his first 13 games. There's a shot toward right, and the base hit right field, right past Gonzalez, who made a dive toward the hole and could not come up with that ball. So Wigginton a hit with 2 outs. He gets aboard, and now we'll take a look at Luke Scott.
Well, over his last 3 starts, he's allowed 2 or fewer runs in each of those last 3 starts, and he has not had a decision in any one of those starts. But basically because, as you pointed out in the opening, this San Diego ball club, not a very good run-scoring, hitting ball club.
That's a disease that has also afflicted the Orioles, as you well know. But yeah, Richard, his last game against Seattle had a no decision in a 4-2 loss. Here comes the pitch. Scott will take a fastball just off the outside corner. In that game, he gave up just a couple of runs on 5 hits in 7 innings. So he has not won a ball game since May 22nd, when he beat the Seattle ball club, interleague. And Scott swings and fouls it off to the left. And at the time he won that game, for the left-hander Clayton Richard, it was his 4th consecutive victory, but he has not been able to win since. His last 4 starts, he's had 1 loss, and he's had 3 no decisions. And now the first, and back in there safely is Wigginton. Clayton Richard, 26 years of age. Big fella, 6'5", weighs about 240. He was born in Indiana, Lafayette. Drafted by the White Sox originally. Here comes the pitch. Scott check swing and the pitch upstairs.
He was drafted out of the University of Michigan at one time in his athletic career, a quarterback for the University of Michigan, but not the number 1 quarterback or the number 2 quarterback, and then decided, hey, I'm not going to be a football player in my big-time life. I'm going to be a baseball player, and then he just stuck straight with baseball.
Well, the left-hander now against Luke Scott with a count of 2-1. Here comes the pitch. Check swing again, and this time they appeal, and they get the appeal. Now the ball was out away from Luke, with a count even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Richard drafted by the White Sox in 2005, drafted in the 8th round. And then 3 years later made his debut with the Chicago White Sox in the major leagues. And eventually the next season came to San Diego in the Jake Peavy deal. Go to first, and Wigginton gets back, almost overran the bag, but he does get back. And now Scott with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Left-hander Clayton Richard looks in for a sign. Wigginton off the back at first with 2 outs, a run in. And now Richard at the belt and delivers. Oh, look out. Scott almost got drilled by that pitch.
Well, you mentioned Jake Peavy. He had a terrific game against the Nats today. A complete game, 1-0 victory over Washington, allowing just 3 hits to the Nationals this afternoon.
Well, this guy Clayton Richard, certainly, you look at his numbers. I mean, forget the wins and losses. You look at his earned run average, the opponent's batting average against. He's done a real good job. There's a bouncer up the middle. That's a base hit. Now Wigginton is going to go to third. Up with the ball is Gwynn. He'll get it back into second base. Wigginton holding at third base. Scott is at first. And so the Orioles here with a 1-0 lead with 2 outs. Adam Jones will come up to hit with runners on first and third here in the top of the first inning. Well, that bounder right back up the middle. So let's see if Jones can add to the Oriole lead. But Richard we mentioned, has made 13 starts. And in 12 of those 13 starts, he has allowed 3 runs or less. So it tells you about the job he's done. Also tells you about this ballpark. Very difficult to hit in this ballpark and score a lot of runs. And now Jones, he takes a call strike. He's made 13 starts, and 9 of those have been what they call quality starts. So he's been real consistent for San Diego. And they are the leaders in the National League West. Here comes a pitch. And Jones will take a changeup, looked like low and outside, a ball. Adam hitting .252 as he stands in here. Jones, 8 home runs, and he's knocked in 24 runs. Left-hander against right-hander. Richard delivers. Jones takes a ball down at his feet.
Well, the Padres getting good news on 2 fronts today. The Giants were losers in Toronto, and the Dodgers losers at Fenway Park this afternoon.
So right now, San Diego with a 1.5 game lead in the National League West. And now Richard again will deliver. Jones will take at the knees. That's a call strike. Back to a fastball. So the count 2-2. I mean, the Padres offensively, not a whole lot to talk about, but pitching, yeah, they lead the league. They've been one of the better defensive teams in the National League as well. They've done a good job, some timely hitting. Here's the pitch. There's a high fly ball, right center, fairly deep. Racing over Tony Gwynn, so is Venable. And it will be Tony Gwynn who makes that catch on the run. In the gap in right center, and this side retired. But Orioles get a run, and they leave 2. And now Kevin Millwood this afternoon will be trying to end an 8-game losing streak. Right now he's on a 1-0 lead. We head to the bottom of the first on the Orioles Radio Network. All right, here we go. Bottom of the first inning. Orioles ahead 1-0. Kevin Millwood on the hill tonight, trying to break into the win column. First time this season. Comes in, his record 0-8 in 14 starts. My goodness. Here's David Eckstein, and Millwood delivers a strike on the inside corner. Eckstein, and then Headley, the switch hitter, and then the big fella, Adrian Gonzalez. Orioles ahead 1-0. And now Millwood with the 0-1 delivery is at the knees. That's a call strike.
Well, lots of things working in Kevin's favor to pick up that initial victory. This ballpark, a friendly pitcher's ballpark, and in 14 starts against San Diego Padres in his career, 6-1.
And now the 0-2 to Eckstein. This one is low and outside for a ball. Well, Millwood right now on a 5-game winning streak against the San Diego Ball Club. Yeah, 14 starts. He's had a .295 ERA against San Diego. But lately, Millwood he's been hit really hard. As a ground ball, second base. There's Lugo a little bit toward the hole, scoops it up and throws out Eckstein, out number 1. And now here's Chase Headley. I mean, Millwood, his last start was against the Mets. Remember that game? He gave up a couple of home runs right away in the first inning. Gave up 5 in the first inning. And Orioles wound up losing that game 11-4. In that game against the Mets, he gave up 3 home runs. 2 of those came in the first inning. So he lost that ball game right away. And now Headley takes the ball just off the outside corner. And Millwood, in his last 22 2/3 innings, had given up 24 runs. That's amazing. There's the fastball strike on the outside corner.
And that long ball has been a plague. Of course, he leads both the American and National League, giving up 19 home runs, 9 of them coming over his last 4 starts.
Well, those last 22 2/3 innings, he's given up 37 hits, 9 of which have been home runs. And this one is inside the ball to Headley. Yeah, given up 19 home runs to lead the majors in that category. Danny Herron of the Arizona Ball Club has given up 18 home runs. And he would be second on that home run list. And now Headley backs away at the plate. Orioles ahead 1-0, bottom of the first inning, 1 away with the bases empty. And now the 2-1 delivery to Headley is bounded back of the bag at first base, right over the bag. That's a fair ball. Wigginton has it. He'll underhand the ball to Millwood to get the out. and Headley never left the batter's box. So I guess he thought that ball was going to go foul. But from here, it looked as though the ball went right over the right-hand corner of that first base bag.
And whether you believe it's going to go fair or foul, you should go down that line hard, because you never know what the call might be from the umpire. And he just stood there watching and kind of slumped his shoulders when he saw first base umpire Phil Cuzzy say fair ball.
So Headley is retired. And now here's Adrian Gonzalez, last night's hero for the San Diego Padres. Remember, he won the ball game with a base hit in the bottom of the ninth inning against David Hernandez. And Gonzalez takes ball one. Orioles ahead 1-0, bottom of the first inning. Adrian Gonzalez, he of the sweet swing, takes a high fastball. The count 2-0.
Well, over his last 18 games, he's been hammering all comers, hitting over 400 over that stretch.
Now for the season, hitting .302. 15 home runs. Here comes a pitch. And just off the outside edge. Gonzalez, I mean, he'll beat you with a home run. He'll beat you with a base hit. He is third in the league with 15 home runs. He's in the among the leaders with a total of 74 base hits. Here comes the next one. And he's also among the leaders in bases on balls, and he gets one more right there. And Gonzalez, the 43rd walk he has been issued, and that would be 4th in the National League. So he gets on base in numerous ways. And now with 2 outs, it'll bring up Scott Hairston.
And when you look at that lineup, you say he's the guy you don't want to get that hit to beat you. And you be very careful with him, because you got Scott Hairston coming up right now. Scott hitting just .219 with 7 home runs, and the guy that really is not in the same league hitting-wise with Gonzalez.
Well, not too many are.
Yeah.
Here comes a pitch to Scott Hairston. He takes low and outside for a ball. Hairston does have those 7 home runs. He is 0 for 4 in his career against Millwood. So he has seen him a couple of times. Orioles ahead 1-0 at the bottom of the first inning. Yeah, the pitch on the way. There's a fly ball down the left field line. That could be trouble. Coming over, Scott can't get to it. Plays that ball on one bounce. And then he walks the ball back in toward the infield. Stopping at second base is Adrian Gonzalez. So with 2 outs, the Padres now have 2 aboard for the catcher, Yorvi Torrealba. Scott Hairston, who began his season this year by hitting a home run for San Diego on his first at bat. Not a bad way to get started. Of course, he and his brother Jerry Hairston Jr. started last night, and they're starting again tonight here at San Diego. Now here's Torrealba with 2 outs. Orioles ahead 1-0. Yorvi Torrealba last night 0 for 4. Strictly a right-hand hitter. Millwood delivers, and he misses low and outside, ball 1. Torrealba hitting .267 for San Diego. 1 home run, he's knocked in 15. Millwood takes a look and now delivers. Fastball picks up the inside corner. Even up 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Padres, they've done a good job winning close games. They've had last night was their 8th walk-off win, as Torrealba takes outside for a ball. So they have been a rather dramatic kind of a ball club, despite the fact they have one of the worst offenses in the National League. But when you've got great pitching and you play good defense, you can stay in games. You've got a chance to win some of those. And there's a line drive. That's a base hit to right field. Gonzalez going to be waved in. No, he's going to put up a stop sign, and now there's going to be a rundown between second and third. As a base runner there, Hairston is hung up. The throw to third, safe there. But now they go after Hairston, and Wigginton missed him. Hairston is able to get back to second base. So they have the Padres in a rundown, and they do not get the third out. I mean, Adrian Gonzalez went about halfway toward the plate and then stopped, as the throw from Markakis would have had him, I think. So Gonzalez went back to third, which means that Hairston got hung up between second and third base. And ultimately, Hairston is able to get back to second, and the Padres now have the bases loaded with 2 outs.
Now, Ty Wigginton managed to touch Hairston with his right hand. Unfortunately, he had the ball in the glove hand. So everybody's back at the bases with the bases loaded. And I was surprised. I was watching Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach. He was really indecisive with the runner rounding third base with Gonzalez, as I didn't see him waving him in or giving him a stop sign.
Well, that means if you're the base runner, you see nothing, you keep on going.
Yeah.
I think Adrian Gonzalez made a mistake. Once you go that far, you got to keep going. I mean, he committed to the plate and then stopped, which meant that Hairston had no place to go. Well, the Padres, after that, they got real lucky. And now Venable comes up, a left-hand hitter, to hit with 2 outs. And the Orioles, they had 1-0. So Gonzalez is at third. Hairston is still at second base. And Torrealba is at first base with 2 outs. Left-hand hitting Will Venable. Millwood delivers. And he missed badly up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Venable last night made a pinch hitting appearance in the 7th inning and got a base hit. Right-hander against left-hander. Millwood delivers. And Venable swings and foul tips it right there at the plate. Even up 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, initially they tried to get Gonzalez at third base, but the tag there was too late. And then eventually Hairston was able to avoid a tag by Wigginton and was able to get back to second. Now let's see if Millwood can make that development moot. Venable back in. Millwood ready. A look at third. Here comes the 1-1 delivery. This is a fastball up and in. So the count 2-1. And now Millwood sets again. He looks at third and delivers. There's a ground ball, but foul outside the bag at first. So 2-2 now to Will Venable.
Well, Will Venable has struck out more than any other Padre. He has struck out 64 times in 59 games.
Well, he comes in with a batting average of only .231 for the season. And he does have 4 home runs. And he has knocked in 19 runs. Millwood with a count of 2-2. And here comes the pitch. Is high for ball 3. And all of a sudden, Millwood, remember, he got the first 2 outs, but then he walked Adrian Gonzalez on 4 pitches, and then back-to-back singles, and then the botched rundown play. Now Venable goes 3-2, and for Millwood, this will be his 24th pitch this inning. Right-hander sets, and he delivers. He walked him. My goodness. So Gonzalez comes in from third. It's a tie ball game, 1-1. And for the Padres, the bases remain loaded. And now Jerry Hairston comes up to hit. It also brings out Rick Kranitz.
That's the way things have been going for the Orioles. You get that run in the first inning. Orioles score without the benefit of a base hit, but then give it right back on a bases loaded walk in the bottom of the first.
So now here's Jerry Hairston. Last night had a couple of hits. He had a double and a single. He went 2 for 4 last night. Comes in his batting average at .242. Again, right-hander against right-hander. Scott Hairston, his brother, is just at third base with 2 outs. Torrealba is now at second base, and Venable is at first. Here's the pitch. And this one misses outside for ball 1. So Millwood here trying to minimize the damage. We're tied up at 1-1 in the bottom of the first inning. Millwood again a look at third base. At the belt and delivers. There's a line drive. That is a base hit to center. Hairston in. Here's Torrialba being waved in. Here comes the throw on a couple of bounces. It is too late. Hairston, 2-run single. San Diego leads it now 3-1. Millwood just can't get that third out.
Well, it was Hairston's error, the two-base error on that Julio Lugo ground ball to start this ball game. Now he's got to feel a little bit better about things, picking up 2 ribbies with that bases-loaded single.
And now here's Tony Gwynn with 2 aboard and 2 outs. Well, the ball was hit sharply to center field, but of course, with 2 outs, base runners are going on contact. And now Tony Gwynn takes a very high fastball. Millwood almost threw that one away. 1 ball and no strikes. Torrialba, even though he is a catcher, he runs well. And he got a running start out there at second base. I mean, Torrialba, he's got stolen bases. He's got, for San Diego, he's stolen 3 or 4 bases. So he's a good running catcher. He scored easily, as it turned out. And now Gwynn takes upstairs, and the count 2-0. And Millwood right now looking a little bit exasperated. Tony Gwynn Jr. His batting average at .224. Lately, he has been a hot hitter. Here comes the pitch. This one is outside, ball 3. 3-0. Gwynn, his last 16 games, has hit .366. He's had 15 hits in 41 at-bats. We saw him in the game last night. Here comes the pitch. There's the called strike, taken all the way. The count 3-1. Last night, Tony Gwynn came on in the 9th inning and bounced into a force play. Venable, the base runner at second base. Hairston is at first after his 2-run single. Here comes the pitch. In there for a called strike again. The count 3-2. And again looked as though Tony Gwynn was taking all the way.
That was the 31st pitch thrown by Kevin Millwood here in the bottom of the first.
And now Gwynn back in the box. Padres ahead 3-1. Bottom of the first inning. Millwood will check the runners and now delivers. There they go. Fastball swinging and a miss. And he got him on ball 4. Gwynn chased a bad one there. Papa would not be proud. The San Diego gets 3 and they leave 2. And at the end of 1 here at San Diego at Petco Park, Padres ahead 3-1. This is the Orioles Radio Network. Orioles top 2, bottom of the order. Wieters leads off. And up there to hit right-handed. He takes outside for ball 1. Wieters. And then Cesar Esteuris, and then Millwood. The Padres leading at 3-1. Here comes the pitch. And Wieters takes a strike on the outside corner. Matt Wieters, batting average is down to .226. 5 home runs. Here comes the next offer. This one is at the knees. That's a call strike. So the count 1-2. But Wieters, his last 23 games, hitting only .157. And the pitch on the way. Big chopping ball hit toward third. One big bounce to Headley. And the long throw in plenty of time. 1 away. And now before Esteuris comes up to hit. Padres ahead 3-1. We're going to pause here 10 seconds. Station identification on the Oriole Radio Network. And now here's Cesar Esteuris. San Diego ahead 3-1. Inning number 2. Esteuris takes a knee-high strike. Oriole baseball being brought to you by the Great American Tent Sale at Alpaca Ford White Marsh. Look under the big white tent for big savings on every new Ford. As Cesar takes a strike on the outside corner. It's all going on right now at Alpaca Ford White Marsh on Pulaski Highway. Cesar Esteuris. No balls and 2 strikes. And the next offering is in the dirt. 1-2 now to the Orioles shortstop. Padres ahead 3-1, inning number 2. Left-hander Clayton Richard delivers. And Esteuris takes a ball outside. Cesar hitting .223 as he stands in here. And the pitch on the way. Little looping fly ball right field. And right there's Venable along the foul line to make the catch. So 2 gone. And now Millwood will come up to hit. San Diego leading at 3-1 in the top of the second inning. On the SK scoreboard today, interleague, the game of the day, I think took place in Philadelphia. Millwood takes a fastball for a called strike. Minnesota at Philadelphia. The Minnesota Twins scored 5 runs in the 9th inning to tie the game. Millwood swings and misses. Then each team got a run in the 10th inning. And then Minnesota got 3 in the 11th inning, and they won that ball game 13-10. My goodness. Millwood swings and misses. He goes down on 3 pitches. So we head to the bottom of the second. San Diego leads it 3-1 here on the Orioles Radio Network.
Congratulate Scott Barak of Westminster. He's this week's contestant in Apple Ford's Lincoln Mercury's back-to-back home run contest. He's won an autographed baseball from Brian Roberts. Oil changes for life from Apple Ford. Plus, if the first 2 Oriole batter coming up in the top of the third hit back-to-back home runs, Scott will win $25,000 towards the purchase of a new car from Apple Ford. For your chance to win an Apple Ford's Lincoln Mercury's back-to-back home run contest, text the word Apple to the fan or to 843326. Remember, standard text message rates do apply. And log on to 105.7thefan.com for more details. It'll be Julio Lugo and Miguel Tejada.
All right, here's Clayton Richard to lead off for San Diego. Bottom of the second. Padres ahead 3-1. And Millwood's first pitch is a ball. Richard, of course, a pitcher. He's had 19 at-bats this season. Does have a couple of hits. And Millwood delivers a call strike. Millwood had to throw 32 pitches in that first inning. Gave up 3 runs. As for his second consecutive start, he struggles in the first inning. There's a swing and a miss. Although the rundown play should have gotten Millwood out of the inning with no damage being done. So the count 1-2 now to Clayton Richard, and Millwood ready and delivers again, and Richard swings and misses. Down he goes. So Millwood returns the favor. He strikes out Richard. And now with 1 away, the top of the order comes up in David Eckstein. Millwood his second strikeout so far this afternoon. We told you about the Minnesota-Philadelphia game, and that was an amazing ball game because Minnesota got 3 in the first, and then the Phillies came right back and tied the game with 3 runs in the first inning. And then the Phillies took a man for a while. They got 4 in the second, got another one in the third. Eventually, they led the ball game 9-4. Here comes the pitch. Eckstein takes a fastball up and in. But then the Twins got 5 runs in the 9th inning to tie that game. You know that Jim Thome hit a 2-run home run in that 9th inning. And then Joe Mauer tied the game with a 2-run homer in that 9th inning. And there's a fly ball heading for the left field corner. Racing over Scott, but the ball hooks and goes foul into the corner of that lower deck down there. So Eckstein now with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. So in a tie ball game in the 10th inning, it was Drew Butera came up and hit a bases empty home run. Then the bottom of the inning, here comes the pitch. Eckstein takes a fastball for a called strike. In the bottom of the inning, Ross Glode hit a home run for the Phillies to tie the game in that 10th inning. And then Minnesota got 3 in the 11th and won the ball game 13-10. It's a fly ball toward right. Markakis to his right there makes the catch, out number 2. And now here's Chase Headley. Padres ahead 3-1 in the bottom of the second inning. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it went out on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 home runs in that game. Minnesota, Philadelphia. My goodness. 9 bombs. Including, by the way, Ryan Howard, his 14th. Remember, he had 2 yesterday. Yeah, there's a strike to Headley. The count 0-1.
That's almost like the anti-Petco. This is a great pitcher's park. That's a great hitter's park.
I'll say. That's a banjo ballpark here in Philadelphia. Yeah, the pitch on the way. Headley will take a fastball upstairs. Now the finals today. I mean, there's several games in progress. See, the Mets had their winning streak come to an end. They were beaten by the Yankees. Yankees beat the Mets 5-3. There's a high fly ball, right field. Way back there, Markakis back up on the edge of the warning track, makes the catch. And that is out number 3. Here's San Diego. Just a long fly ball out. And so at the end of 2, Padres ahead 3-1. This is the Orioles Radio Network. Now the Orioles at the top of the order in the 3rd. The Padres lead 3-1. Let's get right to Fred Manfred.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. And Julio Lugo, who reached on the 2-base throwing error by the shortstop Jerry Hairston to start the ball game, and then later scored after stealing 3rd on a sac fly off the bat of Nick Markakis. Takes strike 1 from the left-hander. Here's strike 2 at the knees from Clayton Richard. 0-2 to Lugo. Julio Lugo went 1 for 3 with an RBI on last night's ball game. He's 4 for 9 on this road trip with 3 runs knocked in. Slender right-handed batting second baseman lines it down the right field line. That's in for a base hit. Extra bases. It goes to the right field corner. Venable will pick it up, and Lugo on base for a second time in this ball game doubles down the right field line. That is his first extra base hit as an Oriole. And he is at second base with no one down, just as he was in the first inning, and Miguel Tejada will step in now. Tejada lifted a fly ball to Venable, the right fielder, his first at bat, and now Torrealba, after that steal, of course, in the first inning of third base by Julio Lugo, has summoned his shortstop, he has summoned his pitcher, and his second baseman to the hill, and he talks things over with those 2 infielders and his pitcher. Remember last night, as Joe mentioned, Lugo tried to steal third base, but things were negated when there was an interference call on the batter Cesares Torres for interfering with Torrealba on the throw. Right now, Tejada has a chance to get the Orioles their second run of the ball game as Miggy steps in, and the pitch to Tejada, ground ball to the right side. Eckstein will come up with it, pick it up, throw to first, but that ground ball going to the right side allows Lugo to advance from second to third, and Nick Markakis will come up with a second opportunity to pick up an RBI in any number of ways. And he did it in his first at bat with a sacrifice fly, knocking in his 22nd run of the season. So a productive out for Miguel Tejada, going 4-3, and now Nick will stand in. Markakis 6 for his last 11. Had a couple of hits in last night's ball game. Chance now with a runner at third base. The pitch on the way to Markakis. A fastball misses outside. Scott Barry is the home plate umpire. Phil Cuzzy at first base. Jerry Crawford, the umpire at second, and Chris Guccione, the third base umpire for this second game of the 3-game series. Orioles trailing 3-1. Runner at third, 1 out on the pitch to Markakis. A bouncing ball fair inside the bag at third. That will score Lugo. Go into the left field corner. Markakis striding toward second. Here comes the throw. It's off the mark. Markakis slides in with an RBI 2-bagger. Markakis has driven in both Oriole runs tonight, going the opposite way with a bounding ball just fair inside the bag at third. Markakis with his 22nd double, his 23rd RBI, and the Orioles within 1 at 3-2. Nick Markakis, a productive night tonight, and Julio Lugo, reaching on the throwing error to start the ball game, has scored his second run as he has doubled to start this inning. And now the Orioles have that runner at second base with 1 down for Ty Wigginton. Right-handed batter, left-handed pitcher. Wiggy singled his first at bat, takes a breaking ball out of the strike zone, ball 1. Wigginton had a couple of hits and an RBI in last night's ball game. Markakis with his lead at second base. Clayton Richard sets and delivers, and Wigan hits a ground ball to third. Headley up with it. Looks Markakis back to second, throws to first for out number 2. Luke Scott, who singled his first at bat tonight, will step in now. Hey, Oriole fans, you know, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Baltimore Orioles. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today. Markakis at second base, 2 gone. Luke Scott getting the start against the left-handed pitcher. As I mentioned, a single his first at bat. And the pitch to Luke, a strike at the knees. Scott overall has not hit left-handed pitching well this year. Hitting just about .213 coming into this ball game. 3 of his 10 home runs have come against lefties. Getting the start out on left field this late afternoon ball game in San Diego. Markakis at second, representing the tying run. Here's a pitch to Scott. Line drive, center field, base hit. Charging is Gwynn, rounding third, headed to the plate to come in to tie the ball game is Markakis as he slides across just prior to the throw that came in on a bounce to Torrealba. And winding up at second base following his RBI base hit. He's 2 for 2 tonight, Luke Scott. Scott now with 24 ribbies, and we are deadlocked at 3 runs apiece. So Scott, as Juan Samuel saying, he wanted to get Scott into the ball game and not let him kind of sit on the bench despite the fact there was a left-handed pitcher on the hill tonight. Scott has delivered 2 singles. This one drives in a run to tie the ball game. We're all even, 3 runs apiece. Here's Adam Jones. Adam made the final out in that first inning when the Orioles scored an unearned run against Clayton Richard. Righty batter, lefty pitcher, and the delivery from Richard to Adam missing low. 1 ball and no strikes. So the Orioles scoring twice here in the third inning. A Markakis RBI 2-bagger and a Luke Scott single going to second on the throw home. And now Adam Jones with that runner at second base swings and fouls it back. A ball and a strike to Adam. Been a rough road trip for Adam Jones. He has homered on this trip. He did that in San Francisco. But he is just 2 for 17 on the road trip. And with the average at .251. 8 home runs and 24 knocked in. Right-handed batter, young man who went to high school here in San Diego. Morse High School has a chance here to give the Orioles the lead with Scott at second base. The delivery to Jones, a swing and a tapper foul at the plate. A ball and 2 strikes. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Orioles. For the San Diego Padres against Kevin Millwood, 3 runs on 3 hits, and they have committed the only error of the ball game. Left-hander Clayton Richard, a big kid, 6'5", 240, 26 years of age. Sets, looks back at Scott at second base, delivers to Jones, and Adam, fly ball, slicing toward the right field foul line, but getting over there is Venable. He will make the grab in fair ground, but the Orioles come up with a couple of runs to tie. A Markakis RBI double, a Scott run-producing single. We go to the bottom of the third here in San Diego. Orioles 3, Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. A brand new ball game as we go to the bottom of the third. 3-3. Adrian Gonzalez leads off, and the first baseman fouls the first pitch off to our left for strike 1. Gonzalez with 2 down, walked on 4 pitches. And then things started to happen that the Orioles didn't want to see happen, and the Padres scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first against Kevin Millwood, and that first inning has been a bugaboo for Kevin. Delivery on the way to the left-handed batting first baseman, up and in with a fastball, a ball, and a strike. By the way, the 15th out of Orioles baseball was brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit Geico at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. The 1-1 delivery to Gonzalez, and he went with a half-hearted swing and went through it for a ball and 2 strike count. There's that fastball. And Gonzalez now with a 1-ball, 2 strike count. Gonzalez, Scott Hairston, and Yorvit Torrealba for the San Diego Padres. Orioles wrap up this West Coast swing against National League teams tomorrow afternoon with Jake Arrieta on the hill. Outside, off-speed pitch, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gonzalez. Gonzalez hitting .302, 15 homers, and 46 knocked in. He's currently riding a 7-game hit streak. He's had 10 hits over his last 25 at-bats. Right-handed pitcher, 35-year-old Kevin Millwood on the way to Gonzalez. And he swings and pops it foul just beneath us. And fans just below us had an opportunity for a foul ball, but it hit and then bounced to the lower deck below. So the count remains 2-2 to Gonzalez. Gonzalez with 12 of his 15 home runs against right-handed pitching. The 2-2 pitch on the way from Kevin Millwood to Gonzalez. Way inside, ball 3. Gonzalez with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. The walk that he had on 4 pitches, his first at bat, the 43rd time he's drawn a free pass this year. And he has struck out 51 times. Left-handed batter waving that bat over the dish, now cocks it above the left ear. And the Millwood pitch on the way to Gonzalez. Line drive in the gap in right center field. That gets down and between the outfielders, rolls all the way to the 400-foot side. Markakis picks it up there, and Gonzalez will wind up at second base with a leadoff 2-bagger, his 13th double of the season. Well, he laced into that 3-2 pitch and gapped it between the center fielder and the right fielder. So he is at second base with nobody down for Scott Hairston, who singled. His first look at Kevin Millwood, and it was Hairston who avoided being tagged out for the final out in that first inning on that rundown that kept things alive for the San Diego Padres, and they went on to score 3 times. Venable walked with the bases loaded, and Jerry Hairston singled to drive in 2 with the bases loaded. So Scott Hairston in. Hairston lifted his average to .225. He has a runner at second base with nobody down in a 3-3 ball game, bottom of the 3rd. Hairston takes the fastball at the knees for a strike. 7 home runs, 15 knocked in for Scott Hairston. Kevin Millwood now with 51 pitches thrown. He has a runner at second base, nobody down here in the home half of the 3rd, the Padre half of the 3rd, and a swing and a miss. And a fastball, no balls and 2 strikes to Scott. Hairston's had 4 hits over his last dozen trips. Went 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. Adrian Gonzalez walking his lead at second base. 2 strikes on the left fielder Scott Hairston. Nobody out, and the pitch to Hairston. He swings and shoots a foul straight back to the netting. Mentioned that Jake Arrieta will make the start tomorrow for the Orioles in this wrap-up game out west. It'll be the veteran right-hander John Garland for San Diego. Garland, 6 wins, 4 losses with a 2.81 ERA. Of course, Arrieta has a perfect 2-0 in his big league career with a 2.77. Fastball high, 1-2 now to Scott Hairston. Wins against the Yankees and the Giants for Arrieta. Orioles will then have an off day Monday and then continue with interleague play at home with the Marlins coming to town and then the Nationals. The delivery to Hairston, strike 3 called. He started the swing, stopped it, and then watched it go right over the plate for the 3rd strikeout for Kevin Millwood, the first out for the Padres here in the bottom of the 3rd. Millwood now with 55 pitches thrown. Yorvit Torrealba singled and scored back in the first inning. Torrealba, who went hitless in 4 at-bats last night, is now hitting .274. Veteran right-handed batting catcher. Torrealba, the slightly open stance in the third base side batter's box. Gonzalez still at second base, 1 out, and Torrealba swings and lifts a foul off to the right side. Well, what another gorgeous day here in San Diego. Temperature about 70 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. Right now, as we approach 6:35 or so Pacific time, still cloudless sky, sunshine with the shadows creeping across from the left field side all the way across to the right field side of the diamond. Strike 2 to Torrealba as he took that slider on the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. Kevin Millwood still looking for that initial Orioles win. This is his 15th start. 0-8 with a 5+ ERA. And now the 2-strike delivery. Torrealba loops it toward right field. Markakis on the run. He will have to play it on a bounce. He plays it right near the foul line, but since that ball was a possible catch for Markakis, stopping between second and third was Gonzalez, and so he does not score on the base hit to right field. And the runners are at first and third for San Diego with Will Venable coming up. Venable walked with the bases loaded to push across a run in the first. Torrealba 2 for 2 today. Venable with his 20th RBI with his 19th walk back in inning number 1. And after the Orioles took a 1-0 lead on an unearned run, the Padres scored 3 times against Kevin Millwood, but the Orioles answered with 2 of their own in the top of the third to tie. But right now San Diego threatening to grab the lead again. Left-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, and Venable looks at a pitch down and away. 1 ball, no strikes to Will Venable. Venable with the 20 ribbies, 4 home runs, and a .231 batting average. He has hit into 1 double play this year. 35 twin killings hit into by the San Diego Padres. The pitch to Venable, late swing and a miss at a fastball upstairs. Because that's where Kevin Millwood will go with that fastball, about letters high. Very tempting for the hitter to go after that pitch because you see it so well, and then all of a sudden you swing and miss. Gonzalez at third, Torrealba at first. Kevin Millwood on the way to the right fielder, and a little pop-up third base side, foul ground, and no one can get it because it goes just behind the Oriole dugout. And now 1-2 to Venable. Venable had a pinch hit in last night's ball game. He's delivered nicely for Bud Black in that role. 4 hits in 10 pinch hitting appearances. Now he's getting the start today against Kevin Millwood, the right-hander. Venable with that 2-tone bat, waving it over the dish from the first base side of the home plate area. Gonzalez is at third, Torrealba at first, 1 out. Millwood holds the set. Still holds, now delivers, and Venable hits a fly ball to right center field shallow, going out to second baseman Lugo, and he makes the grab, and with that ball being in shallow right center field, Gonzalez can only watch the catch as he took a little bit of a jaunt toward the plate, maybe 15 feet or so away from the bag, and then stopped. So 2 gone, still runners at first and third. And now Jerry Hairston, who drove in 2 with a bases loaded single, his first at bat, will step in. The former Oriole, now with 25 ribbies, a .245 batting average. Hairston had a couple of hits against the Birds last night, including a double. He has hit in 7 of his last 8 games now, and gone 9 for his last 23. So Hairston will bang the barrel into the bat on the plate. Right-handed batter, making his 41st start at shortstop. Played a total of 5 different positions for the Padres this year. And the pitch on the way to Jerry, taken down and in. Fastball, 1 ball, no strikes. Kevin Millwood now with 63 pitches. We're in the bottom of the third. Runners at first and third for San Diego. 2 gone in a 3-3 ball game. Hairston stands fairly close to the plate, midway in the batter's box. And the Millwood delivery to Hairston. He pops him up. Slicing toward the right field foul line. Lugo out, the second baseman, and crosses into foul ground to make the grab for the final out. So the Padres get a leadoff double. They have runners at first and third with 1 down and cannot push the run across. We go to the 4th inning here in San Diego with the Orioles 3, the Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. Matt Wieters to lead off for the Birds. Bottom third of the order against Clayton Richard in a 3-3 ball game. First at bat, a ground out to third base for the switch hitting catcher. And the southpaw delivers, and Wieters takes it. Off-speed breaking ball in for a strike. Matt just 3 hits over his last 31 at-bats. 5 home runs on the year, 18 knocked in. Fastball outside, a ball and a strike to Wieters. Hitting under .210 as a right-handed batter with 2 of his 5 home runs from the third base side batter's box. And low again. 2 balls and 1 strike for Wieters. Wieters is Turris and Millwood for the Orioles. Each team with 3 runs on 5 hits. The Padres committing the only error. Orioles have left 3, the Padres 4. Wieters chops it third base side slowly. Charging and barehanded pickup by Headley. His throw to first. Wieters out by several steps. Twice Wieters has hit the ball to the third baseman. This is a much tougher play for Headley than the first one. But he barehanded and fired to first, and out number 1 is Matt Wieters. You know, taking yourself or your family to the ballpark during the course of the Oriole baseball, remember, you can take it the easy way. An MTA local bus, light rail, or Metro subway. They save you on gas and, of course, that parking fee while you save yourself from traffic. Ride MTA, and you go home every game a winner. Here's Turris. Lifted a fly ball to shallow right his first at bat and looks at the first pitch from Richard. For ball 1, it was down and away. Turris had a base hit in last night's game. He in 4 at bats takes it low. 2 balls and no strikes. As Turris hitting better average wise as a right-handed batter. Came in hitting .250 from this side of the plate. Takes a strike at the knees. 2-1. Overall, as Turris hitting .222. He has driven in 11 runs. Still looking for the first home run of the season. And the pitch to his Turris is low. 3-1. Kevin Millwood waits on deck. Clayton Richard, 4 wins, 3 losses. Came in with an ERA under 3. And now as Turris bounds a chopper right to the third baseman. Headley's throw across the diamond as Turris, the second out. Both outs handled by the third baseman, Chase Headley. And now Kevin Millwood, a 3-pitch strikeout. And the only strikeout so far tonight for Clayton Richard will step in. Millwood has hit 3 at-bats in interleague play this year. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Veteran right-handed hitter and pitcher, of course, Kevin Millwood takes a strike at the knees. So Millwood has seen 4 pitches, all strikes. Now Kevin will tap the barrel into the far end of the plate. Swing and miss at the off-speed breaking ball, and Millwood almost went down with a knee in the dirt on that slow breaking ball, and Kevin just feebly took the cut. No balls, 2 strikes to Kevin Millwood. And the delivery of Millwood, swing and a miss, he strikes him out. So Millwood has seen 6 pitches, all strikes, and he is the second strikeout tonight for Clayton Richard. The Orioles go 1-2-3 in the top of the 4th. We head to the bottom of the inning in San Diego at Petco. Orioles 3, Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. Well, Tony Gwynn Jr. will lead off for the San Diego Padres in this 3-3 ball game. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Next Saturday, don't forget, celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 1970 World Series champion Orioles as Brooks and Frank and Boog and more than 20 members of that 1970 team reunite at the Yards. Be at the park by 3:30 to witness special pregame ceremonies before the Orioles meet the Nats, and the teams will be wearing throwback uniforms to the 4:05 first pitch. For tickets, call the Orioles at 888-8848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. And the lefty batting, Tony Gwynn Jr. will step in. And the pitch to Gwynn, and in there for a strike. Gwynn struck out his first at bat on a 3-2 pitch that was out of the strike zone. He swung and missed. 0-1 to the Padres center fielder. Into a fielder's choice in last night's ball game. That's a fly ball, shallow left field. Standing in his tracks now, coming in is Luke Scott, and Scott makes the grab. 1 gone. Gwynn 0 for 2. Clayton Richard will stand in. Well, Kevin Millwood has had 2 at-bats against Richard with a couple of strikeouts. This will be Richard's second at-bat against Kevin. And the first at-bat resulted in a swinging strike 3. Richard now with 7 strikeouts and 20 at-bats this year. He's also had a couple of hits and knocked in 3 runs. And the pitch of the left-handed batting Richard, missing outside with a fastball. 0-1. Richard looks like if he got a hold of it, he could send it a pretty good distance. He's 6'5", 240. Looks like a hitter at the plate. And the Millwood delivery to Richard. Bounces it to the right side and on into right field, a base hit. His third hit of the season. A one-out single, and the pitcher is down at first base for the top of the order, David Eckstein. Eckstein is 0 for 2 in tonight's ball game. Eckstein went 2 for 5 in last night's game, including picking up a big tying RBI in the ninth inning when the Padres rallied for 2 to come back and beat the Orioles 3-2. David Eckstein. Average dipping to 280 with his 0 for 2 against Kevin Millwood tonight. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, and the delivery to Eckstein is downstairs. Ball 1. Eckstein, a very difficult strikeout guy. Only 11 this year. And he strikes out maybe once every 25 at bats. And a bouncer third base side foul as he pulls it on a ground. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eckstein. Eckstein trying to extend a modest hit run. He's hit in 4 consecutive games. Eckstein with the 1-1 pitch on the way, takes it into the dirt. Ball bounces away from Matt Wieters. And Clayton Richard had an idea maybe to go to second, but then thought better of it as that ball did not bounce very far from Wieters. And the pitcher retreats to first base. David Eckstein, now 35 years of age. And of course, he's had some outstanding moments in his big league career. Into all-star games, a couple of World Series, and the delivery with a runner going and a broken bat. Slow roller foul. Rolling toward the camera well to the first base side. So the pitcher was running, and Eckstein got the bat on the ball, but the bat didn't stay in one piece, and he fouls it for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As David Eckstein began his professional career back in 1997. Came up to the big leagues for the first time in 2001 with the Angels. Then in 2005, he was with the Cardinals. He's also played for Toronto and Arizona. Last year with San Diego, hit .260.
Part of that broken bat came back and hit Wieters. Very dangerous. The sharp end came back and hit Wieters on the right leg.
2-2 pitch, fly ball. Center field, Adam Jones retreating leisurely and will reach up and make the grab. And when that bat shatters and you get that kind of a spear, and that is very dangerous. So 2 gone. Still at first base, the pitcher, and now Chase Headley will step in. Headley ripped one deep to right field, but this is a big, big ballpark. And Nick Markakis was able to retreat and make a catch with plenty of room to spare in deep right field. He's also grounded out to first on a ball that went right down the line, called fair by the first base umpire, and Headley just stayed in the batter's box watching it, didn't even move toward first base. Pitch outside to the switch-hitting third baseman. Headley, with a much better average as a left-handed batter than from the other side of the plate, came in hitting over 300 from the first base side batter's box, under 200 from the other side of the dish. And the delivery to Headley, swing and a miss. Fastball at 90 from Kevin Millwood. And as usual, that ball was up. And the hitter, Headley, did not make contact. That was the 75th pitch of the night thrown by Kevin Millwood. 2 gone, bottom of the 4th with the runner at first base. 3-3 ball game. Headley checked swing. Did he go around too far? The appeal to the third base umpire. And Chris Guccione said, indeed, you went around too far. You're in the hole, 1-2. Headley has not had a hit in his last 16 at bats. Overall, hitting .262. Kevin Millwood at the belt, now delivers to Headley just off the plate outside to run the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 4 home runs, 22 knocked in for Chase Headley. 3-3 ball game, 2 out, bottom of the 4th in San Diego. Tomorrow we get to see Jake Arrieta, who is 2-0 in his first 2 starts, beating the Yankees and the Giants in his initial big league starts and pitching very well in both ball games. He will wrap up this West Coast swing for the Orioles in interleague play. John Garland, veteran right-hander, will be on the hill for San Diego. Headley waving that bat over the dish. Now cocks it. Awaits the 2-2 delivery. Headley swings and misses. He strikes him out. That is the 4th strikeout for Kevin Millwood. Got him on a breaking ball. And that runner left at first base. We head to the 5th inning in San Diego with the Orioles 3, Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. It's a deadlock ball game, 3 runs apiece. We go to the 5th inning in San Diego, and my pleasure to turn it over to Joe Agee.
All right, big boy, here we go. Lugo's had a busy night. He's been on base a couple of times. Left-hander Clayton Richard going back to work in a tie ball game here at San Diego. Pitch on the way. Lugo lines it out toward right center. He's on base again. Tony Gwynn cuts it off in the gap and quickly spins and gets it back into second base. And for the 3rd time tonight, Lugo gets aboard. His first time up tonight, he was on base on an error. And then a double and a run scored in the 3rd. And now the single to get things started in the 5th inning. And now to bring up Miguel Tejada. Well, Lugo getting a chance to play. Talk about what he's done here tonight. Of course, last night, he had a walk, a single, a stolen base, knocked in a run. And the game before that in San Francisco had 3 hits. Knocked in a couple of runs. And now Tejada first to throw to first base too late. Lugo back in there standing. Yeah, a tie ball game in San Diego. Miguel Tejada so far tonight 0 for 2. A pop up and a ground out. Left-hander against right-hander. Richard sets and again go to first. Now Lugo picked off in a rundown. Being chased toward second base. And now Hairston tags him out. My goodness. So Lugo that time had to move toward second base, and Richard picked him off. And all Lugo could do was get in a rundown and eventually tagged out. So it'll go 1 to 3 to 6. And now Tejada to hit with the bases empty. So Lugo does a good job here tonight getting on base, but then commits a base running blunder. And the count to Miguel Tejada. With a fastball, a swing and a miss is 0-1. On deck is Nick Markakis. Left-hander Clayton Richard. Mentioned he came up originally with the White Sox in 2008. Came up to make his major league debut as Tejada fouls it away. He does have a winning record in his career. 15 wins and 13 losses in 47 major league starts. Left-hander Clayton Richard. Tejada waits. Here comes a pitch. This is a fastball up and away.
And he beat the Orioles when he was wearing that Chicago uniform.
Well, he's made a couple of appearances against the Orioles. One as a starter, he won that game with the White Sox. And he also pitched against the Orioles in relief. Here comes the pitch. Tejada takes way outside for a ball. Tied up at 3-3 in the top of the 5th inning. And now the left-hander again delivers. Tejada loops it foul behind third base. Oriole baseball being brought to you tonight by the Wellwood Restaurant in historic Charlestown, Maryland. Just a short drive up 95. Your taste buds are going to experience some of the finest seafood the Bay has to offer. Visit wellwoodclub.com for weekly specials and events. Miguel Tejada, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now the left-hander again delivers. Miguel bounces it foul outside the coaching box on that third base side. The ball eventually bounces into the lower deck.
Well, Miggy's still mired in that homerless skid. He has not homered in his last 181 at-bats, the longest in his career without circuiting the bases following a home run.
Well, we just have to admit that he is no longer a home run hitter. Slices one foul, back off to the right. He is a singles and he is a doubles hitter. Remember his last year with the Orioles. I think about 80% of his base hits went to right field. Now Richard again delivers, and Tejada takes it low and outside for a ball in the dirt. So now they count 3-2. Well, since the beginning of the 2000 season, Tejada has had 2,006 hits. Third most in baseball in that stretch. Little chopping ball, third base side. Headley over toward the hole, and he throws out Tejada. That's out number 2. And now here's Nick Markakis. 3-3 game in the top of the 5th inning. Well, Nick has had a productive night. His first time up tonight, a sac fly to pick up an RBI. And then his second time up, a double to pick up an RBI. And then he scored on Scott's single. So Markakis has had a big night tonight. Now with 23 RBIs. He takes a ball that backs him off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Markakis, his last 12 games, he's hit about 385. Here comes the pitch. And he takes a strike, caught the inside corner at the letters. Markakis still top 5 in the American League in doubles. He's got 22 now. He is 7th in the league in walks. Here comes the pitch. Low and inside the ball. He is also 8th in the American League in on-base percentage. Markakis is having an outstanding season. Base hits, batting average with runners in scoring position. Here comes the pitch. Fouled away by Nick off the handle. He's had just the 23 RBIs now. But really part of that, I mean, he has hit over 300 with runners in scoring position. So part of his lack of run production is the fact that not too many people have gotten on base in front of him. And now the 2-2 pitch on the way. Markakis takes ball 3. They count 3-2. And for the season, he's hitting over 300. He's been phenomenal against left-hand pitching this season. Well, in many ways, Markakis is having an all-star season. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled away, but the catcher held it. Little foul tip. Torrealba held it to get the strikeout. And so despite giving up a leadoff single, the left-hander Richard faced only 3 hitters after Lugo got picked off. So we head to the bottom of the 5th inning at San Diego. It's a 3-3 game. This is the Orioles Radio Network. 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up against Kevin Millwood. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 3-3 game, and here's Adrian Gonzalez to get the inning started. Gonzalez, and then Scott Hairston, and then Yorvik Torrealba. Here's the pitch. Gonzalez, it's a dribbler. Millwood off the mound on the first base side, and then the lob toss to get Gonzalez on 1 pitch. And now here's Scott Hairston. Millwood has now thrown 79 pitches in this game. So he needs a couple of quick outs. And he got one right there. Remember, Kevin in the first inning had to throw 32 pitches. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits in that first inning. Of course, the Orioles also had a botched rundown play on which they could have gotten the 3rd out. And Millwood could have escaped unscathed in that first inning, but that did not happen. And then in the 3rd inning, Millwood actually got him 1, 2, 3 in the 2nd inning. In the 3rd, he gave up a double and a single, but the Padres did not score. And so now here's Millwood in the 5th inning in a 3-3 game. And now Hairston, he takes ball 1. Let's just say that Millwood again tonight has done a real good job of battling after some early game struggles. Hairston in this game is 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Here comes the next offering, and there's a bouncing ball foul outside third base. I want to say hello to all of you, and in particular, if you're listening on radio station WTBO AM 1450 in Cumberland, Maryland. Nice to have you aboard. A gorgeous night in San Diego, and right now we're tied up at 3-3 here at Petco Park. Scott Hairston for the count of 1-1. Here comes the pitch. Hairston skies one here. Very high, very shallow left field. Izturis goes out. Scott comes in, and Izturis makes the catch right in front of Luke Scott. A little bit of a collision out there, but Cesar held the ball, and it's out number 2. We're going to pause here. 10 seconds. Station identification on the Orioles Radio Network. And hello again, baseball fans. Joe Angel, Fred Manfred here at San Diego, along with our producer, Casey Willett. Nice to have you with us. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. There are 2 outs and the bases empty for the Padres. And here's the catcher, Torrealba, to hit. He's gone 2 for 2 against Millwood tonight. A couple of singles. Here comes the pitch, and Torrealba takes a ball. Now the SK scoreboard, the Red Sox won. They beat the Dodgers 5-4. And they won that game on a Dustin Pedroia single in the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Red Sox able to win a 1-run game. Pitch on the way to Torrealba is a fastball up and away. In that game, Manny Ramirez, of course, now with the Dodgers and back at Fenway Park for the first time since that 2008 season when they made that deal. Manny, by the way, hit a home run today in that game at Fenway Park. And he also had a stolen base in that game. First time he'd done that in about 4 years. And that Torrealba, big swing and a miss. But Victor Martinez also hit one for the Red Sox, his 9th. And Kevin Youkiel is hit number 14 for Boston. And again, the Red Sox won that game 5-4. Other finals, Arizona beat Detroit 6-5. Here comes the pitch. Torrealba popped it up off the hands, left of home plate. Wieters in foul ground, makes the catch, and for the second time tonight, Millwood gets a 1-2-3 inning. And at the end of 5, we're tied in San Diego, 3-3 on the Orioles Radio Network. All right, now the Orioles are in San Diego. They've got the middle of the order coming up to hit. We are tied up at 3-3. Here we go, top of the 6th, and back for the play-by-play. Let's get right back to Fred Manfred.
Well, thanks a lot, Joe. Ty Wigginton 1 for 2 tonight. He singled in the first inning and then grounded out to third. His second look at left-hander Clayton Richard. And the southpaw's delivery to the right-handed batting first baseman is downstairs, ball 1. Wigginton, Scott, and Jones for the Orioles in this 3-3 ball game. Each team with 6 hits. The Orioles have stranded 3. 5 left by the Padres outside. 2 balls and no strikes. 86 pitches for Kevin Millwood through 5. 80 pitches as he works here in the 6th for Richard. Breaking ball inside, 3-0 to Wiggy. Orioles getting a run in the first, an unearned run in that first inning. And the delivery to Wigginton, a 4-pitch walk downstairs. So for Richard, the first free pass he's given up. He struck out 3. 2 of them, Kevin Millwood today. And so the Orioles get a leadoff man on. First Orioles walk of the game brought to you by Boardwalk Fresh Burgers and Fries. You know, they're never frozen burgers. They're handmade every day. And their world-famous fries are fresh cut and made to order. Come by and see in Cockeysville, Lansdowne, and coming soon in College Park. Luke Scott against the lefty, 2 for 2 today with an RBI. And the pitch, Richard to Scott in there for a strike. Luke came in hitting .270 and is 2 for 2 so far, lifting his average by 7 points, .277. 10 home runs and 24 knocked in. Luke getting the start in left field tonight for Juan Samuel. Richard looks at Wigginton, a short lead at first base. Now delivers to Scott, and Scott swings and misses, kind of pulling off that pitch down and away. As that slider went out of the strike zone, Scott made the cut, and he's in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. Luke steps out of the box and takes a practice cut before settling back into the first base side batter's box. Following his leadoff walk, Ty Wigginton at first base. Nobody down. The 2-strike delivery to Luke. Scott swing and a miss. That slider again, and Scott has gone on 3 pitches. 4th strikeout for Clayton Richard. First time he's gotten Luke. Adam Jones 0 for 2. He's lifted the ball in the air twice. Once to the center fielder Gwynn, the other time to Will Venable, the right fielder. And the struggles that seem to have been shaken by Adam Jones have come back at the plate. His 2 hits over his last 18 at-bats. Throw over there, and Wigginton gets back to first base. Jones taps the bat on the plate as the 6'5" southpaw Clayton Richard delivers to the Oriole outfielder, and Jones swings and misses. Big cut at that off-speed pitch. And 0-1 to Adam. Matt Wieters waits on deck. Middle game of the 3-game series. The Orioles dropped 2 of 3 in San Francisco. Lost last night, a heartbreaker to the San Diego Padres. And the pitch to Jones. Fastball misses outside. And with a 1-ball and 1-strike count, the Orioles had the lead. They took the lead in the top of the ninth, 2-1, but lost it as David Hernandez was touched for 2 runs in the bottom of the ninth inning, and the Padres picked up their 10th win of the season in the last at bat. Here's a deep drive to left field. No doubt about this one. Going, gone! Adam Jones gives the Orioles the lead. A 2-run shot for Jones. He homered in San Francisco, and now he comes home to San Diego to homer with Wigginton aboard, and the Orioles lead it 5-3. Jones hit a rocket into the second level deep to left field. All Scott Hairston did was turn and watch it sail high over his head, and Jones has had 3 hits on this road trip, 2 of them home runs.
Well, for Jones, it ends in 0-for-12. Remember, he had the 0-for-16 earlier this season. And that bomb ends in 0-for-12. Nicely done.
And now here's Matt Wieters, who hits a high foul out of play off to the right side. So Adam Jones going long ball on this road trip. He hit a tremendous shot at San Francisco at AT&T Park, and tonight he hit a deep drive to left center here at Petco. Here's a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Jerry Hairston up with it, throws to first. For Richard, that is the 6th home run he's given up, all to right-handed hitters this year.
You know, Adam Jones now with 9 home runs this season, and 4 of them have come against the National League.
He had those 2 in Washington against the Nationals, including the inside the park home run. Here's Matt Wieters is gone, and that brings up Izturis, who is 0-for-2. Izturis a fly ball out and a ground ball out. So Adam Jones here before his hometown crowd. Here's a shot up the middle, a base hit for Izturis. Orioles getting the 2-out base hit after the 2-run home run off the bat of Adam Jones. Adam has some family here in the ballpark tonight before the ball game. The folks enjoying watching Adam take batting practice. And the first pitch in the dirt to Kevin Millwood, and a nice save by Torey Alba as that ball was headed toward the backstop. Torey Alba had to extend the mid-hand to block it. And Millwood, who had previously seen 6 pitches and struck out twice, takes ball 1 down at his feet. And the Orioles have the lead now 5-3 on the Adam Jones home run. Wigginton walked to start the inning, and Jones with a 1-out home run. Here's a strike on the inside corner to Kevin. Millwood now with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Millwood has the lead 5-3. He's thrown 86 pitches through 5 innings tonight against the Padres. And the delivery to Millwood, a swing and a foul back. By the way, that home run call brought to you by Chapin Davis, the oldest and largest full-service investment company based in Baltimore. Your hometown trusted investment firm can be reached at 800-222-3246 or at chapindavis.com. A ball and 2 strikes to Millwood. Off-speed pitch, a swing and a miss, and Millwood for a 3rd time strikes out. But he goes back to the dugout, be heading out to the mound momentarily with the 2-run lead thanks to the 2-run home run off the bat of Adam Jones. We go to the bottom of inning number 6 here in San Diego. Orioles 5, Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. Kevin Millwood gave up 3 runs in the first inning, and the Padres had a 3-1 lead. But right now, as he goes to work here in the bottom of the 6th, Kevin has a 2-run cushion. He has a 5-3 advantage. It'll be Will Venable, the right fielder, Jerry Hairston, the shortstop, and Tony Gwynn, the center fielder, against the veteran right-hander who's thrown 86 pitches through 5. Hey, Orioles fans, let the Home Savings of America hit a home run for you. Rates as low as 4.99 APR for a limited time. Toll free 1-877-I'll-TAKE-IT or homesavingsofmd.com. Venable has walked to push across a run in that 3-run first. He's also popped out. Left-handed batting outfielder. And the delivery for Millwood upstairs, ball 1. 95 pitches thrown by Clayton Richard through his 6 innings of work tonight. Orioles with 5 runs on 8 hits against the left-hander. And the delivery to Venable, again missing in the eyes of home plate umpire Scott Barry. 2 balls and no strikes. 3 runs on 6 hits for the Padres. Activity starting in the bullpen for San Diego. Right-hander. And the pitch to the outfielder. And Venable takes another ball. 3-0 to Will Venable. It was Venable on the 3-2 pitch in the first inning that got the free pass that pushed across the first San Diego run. That tied it at the time. And now the pitch, a strike at the knees on the outside corner. 3 balls, 1 strike to Venable. Jerry Hairston in that inning had a bases loaded 2 RBI base hit. We're going to see some activity start for the Orioles. Looks like Mark Hendrickson will take off the jacket and begin to toss in the Oriole bullpen. Venable swings and misses as Millwood came upstairs with that fastball at 91, and Venable cut through it. So from 3-0, we go to a full count. So far this afternoon, 4 strikeouts for Kevin Millwood. 64 on the season for Venable, and their pitch on the way to Venable. High pop, third base side foul ground and out of play. As both Tejada and Wieters, the third baseman and catcher, made their moves toward the ball, but saw it was going to be out of their reach. And Kevin Millwood trying to get the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Now that he has the lead at 3-2, I should say 5-3. He has a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Venable. The right-handed pitcher ready to deal to the left-handed batting outfielder, and Venable swings and misses. He strikes him out. 5th strikeout for Millwood, the 65th time Venable has been a strikeout victim this season. 1 gone in the bottom of the 6th. Jerry Hairston, a base hit to drive in 2 in the first, and a pop out to Julio Lugo, the second baseman, in the 3rd. Hairston with the average at 244. 25 runs knocked in for Jerry. Hairston playing shortstop tonight for Bud Black. 2nd consecutive game we've seen him at short. He's also played several other infield positions as well as the outfield. And he takes a strike from Kevin. Hairston committed an error on the very first play of the game. 2-base throwing error that allowed Julio Lugo to go to second base. Lugo later came in the first inning on a sacrifice fly after stealing third base. A bunt try by Hairston, and he fouls it down at the plate. 0-2. On the SK out-of-town scoreboard, Tampa Bay and Florida knotted at 5 runs apiece as the Rays bat in the top of the 9th inning against the Marlins. No home runs for Tampa Bay today. Coughlin and Ramirez hitting home runs for Florida. We'll see the Marlins in Baltimore Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. Henry Ramirez his 11th. The 0-2 delivery and a swing and a foul to stay alive off to the right side, off the bat of Jerry Hairston. Bottom of the 6th inning, it's Pittsburgh 5, the Cleveland Indians 4. Russell Branyan hitting his 9th home run for Cleveland. Here it's the Orioles 5 and the Padres 3. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1 out. And the delivery to Hairston. The right-handed batter hits a ground ball to third. Taken off the top of the dirt by Tejada. His throw across the diamond. 2 gone. Bottom of the 6th. In that Pirate game, Pirates are trying to end that 12-game loss skid. And they have the 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 6th at home against the Indians. Tony Gwynn Jr. has struck out and hit a fly ball to Markakis in right field. Here's the son of the Hall of Famer. Grew up here in the San Diego area, played at San Diego State. Kevin Millwood takes the big breath on the hill. He's thrown 97 pitches tonight. 2 gone on the bottom of the 6th. Pitch of the left-handed batting Gwynn, a strike on the outer portion of the plate. Fastball, 0-1 to Tony Gwynn Jr. Millwood with the 1-strike delivery with 2 out, and Gwynn pop up third base side, foul ground, racing back and watching it hit out in front of their sprint toward the ball. Both Izturis and Tejada coming in to try to catch it was Luke Scott, but it dropped foul, so 2 strikes to Tony Gwynn. Since we've been talking about it, the way that things have gone awry for Kevin Millwood, still looking for that initial Baltimore victory. 0-8. This is his 15th game, his 15th start. And right now he has a 2-run lead. He's thrown 99 pitches, 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th. The first inning recently has been the bugaboo inning for Kevin. He gave up 3 here in the first when probably should have gotten out of the inning unscathed, but the Orioles blew a rundown. And then San Diego went on to score 3 times in the first. Millwood's 2-strike delivery to Gwynn. Breaking ball misses outside. Ball and 2 strikes to Tony. Six hits. That's what the Padres have gotten tonight against Kevin. Millwood gets the sign from Wieters. Here's the right-hander's delivery to the left-handed bat of Tony Gwynn Jr. And Gwynn, a little soft fly ball center field. That'll drop in for a base hit. So Gwynn just met the ball and got it out over the infield. A 2-out base hit for Gwynn, and Clayton Richard will not come up. It will be Cunningham, Aaron Cunningham, to come up to act as a pinch hitter. Cunningham had a base hit and a couple of strikeouts in last night's ball game. 1 home run, 4 knocked in. Cunningham, in his first at bat as a Padre, hit a grand slam home run. He had been down at Portland where he was hitting .239 through 53 games at the AAA level. Right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher. And the delivery to Cunningham, a late swing and a foul out of play right side. 0-1. Aaron Cunningham, one-time member of the Oakland organization, played briefly with the Oakland A's. Was in right field last night for Bud Black. Ryan Webb and Luke Gregerson warming in the bullpen, both right-handers for the Padres. Long look by Kevin Millwood. And the pitch upstairs. Fastball, 1-1. Pitch count over the century mark now at 103 for Kevin. And as we mentioned, Mark Hendrickson warming in the Oriole bullpen. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Orioles with a 5-3 lead thanks to the 2-run home run in the top of this 6th. Off the bat of Adam Jones. Quick throw over to first base. Gwynn dives back to the bag. Gwynn, 9 steals and 11 attempts this season. Rick Renteria, the first base coach, watching to help out the base runner as he watches Millwood. Kevin hands together at the belt. The 1-1 pitch to Cunningham, down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to the pinch hitter. Clayton Richard, by the way, the pitcher, had been 1 for 2. A strikeout and a base hit for the southpaw. The 2-1 delivery now to the pinch hitter, and high, ball 3. Fastball, 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, Richard will leave after 6 innings of work, throwing 95 pitches, 8 hits, 4 of the 5 runs earned, 5 strikeouts, a walk, and the home run given up to Adam Jones. 3-1 the count to the pinch hitter, and Cunningham awaits the delivery, a strike. Now full, 3-2. After Cunningham, it would be the right-handed bat of David Eckstein. Sounds like some Oriole fans, and there are some. We heard the O during the national anthem. Several fans coming as guest of the Orioles on this road trip. The 3-2 pitch. Gwynn will be off. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Jones will cruise over the long strides, turns, and makes the grab for the final out. So Kevin Millwood gives up the 2-out single, nothing more. Leaves the mound here in the bottom of the 6th with a 2-run lead, 5-3. So after 6 innings in San Diego, it's the Orioles 5, Padres 3 on the Orioles Radio Network. Now, Kevin Millwood will be sitting, waiting, and watching to see if indeed the bullpen can keep things right where they are for the San Diego Padres at 3 runs. Orioles with a 5-3 lead. Millwood with that very elusive first victory, not yet in the bank. And here's a pitch upstairs from the new pitcher, Will Oman, to David Eckstein. Oman came on last night and faced one batter, and he walked Adrian Gonzalez. Left-handed veteran, and the delivery on the way to David Eckstein is a strike, 1-1. Eckstein 1 for 5 in his career against Will Oman. 28,138 the announced crowd here in San Diego in the middle game of this 3-game series. Oman on the way, 1-1 to Eckstein, and Eckstein hits a ground ball up the middle and on into center field, a base hit. Eckstein has now hit in 5 consecutive games. A leadoff single in the 7th, the bottom of the 7th for the Padres. Chase Headley will step in now. Headley will turn around as a right-handed batter for the first time against Kevin Millwood. He went 0 for 3 from the other side of the plate. Chase Headley has had 3 at-bats with 1 hit against Will Oman. Headley has also hit into 6 double plays this year. Eckstein at first, nobody out, and Headley hits a drive toward left field, but playable by Luke Scott as he makes the grab. So 1 pitch and a line drive out to left field for Chase Headley, 1 gone. It was Gonzalez who drew that walk last night against Oman, and the only batter Will face. Lefty against lefty. And the pitch on the way to quick throw over to first base, and getting back is David Eckstein. Eckstein has attempted 5 steals this year and been successful 4 times. Gonzalez, like Nick Markakis, hits left-handed pitching very well. .330 is his average against lefty pitching. And the delivery on the way, and Gonzalez looks at the pitch inside, ball 1. Scott Hairston would be next. Gonzalez has hit into 4 twin killings this year. 35 overall for the San Diego Padres. Eckstein, who started the inning with a single, now at first base with 1 out. The 1-0 pitch from Oman to Gonzalez, and a breaking ball low. 2 balls and no strikes to Adrian Gonzalez. For Will Oman, this is his 35th game. No decisions. 3.38 ERA. 21 2/3 innings of work. 20 hits. And the pitch to Gonzalez right there for a strike. And Gonzalez watched that one bend over the plate. 2-1 to Adrian. 15 homers, 46 knocked in. 13 doubles. He has struck out 51 times and walked 43 times. Very dangerous Padre. Eckstein lead at first base, being held by Wigginton. Oman looks at Eckstein, now delivers to Gonzalez. Ground ball right to the shift. Is Torres, runs to the bag. The shortstop throws to first, and that's the inning. Well, the Orioles had that shift on with the dangerous left-handed bat, and that ball hit up the middle, but waiting right there to play the big bounce was Torres. It goes 6-6-3, and that's the inning for the Padres. We go to the 8th inning. The Orioles up by 2, 5-3 on the Orioles Radio Network. Orioles fans, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group is saving lives in our community by donating $1,000 to the R. Adams College Shock Trauma Center every time an Orioles pitcher records a save this season. Thank you, Kelly & Associates Insurance Group, for helping to save lives in our community. Well, staying on is Ryan Webb. He'll be facing Ty Wigginton to start the 8th inning. Orioles leading by 2, 5-3. Here's Joe Angel.
All right, Fred, thank you. There's Wigginton. And the right-hander Webb delivers. Wigginton sends a fly ball into very shallow center. Coming out is Tony Gwynn Jr. He makes the catch, and Wigginton gone on one pitch. And now here's Luke Scott. Orioles ahead 5-3. One away with the bases empty. In the top of the 8th inning, this right-hander Ryan Webb. Boy, what a story he has been. And again, it just proves that you never know when somebody might pop up and become a pretty good pitcher. This kid Webb was with the ball club in spring training, was sent down to the minor leagues. So he began the season at the minor league level and then eventually came up in early May. And boy, has he been good. He delivers to Luke, and Scott takes a fastball for a called strike. He has been in 19 games, and in 17 of them, he has been unscored upon. And Fred gave you his numbers, just outstanding. Big, tall, strong right-hander. Ryan Webb delivers, and Luke had ideas. He takes it a little bit too low after a check swing. Opponents have hit about $170 against this guy this year. One of the lowest opponents' batting average against in the major leagues. Ryan Webb ready again as Scott digs in. Here comes a pitch. And Luke swings away, gets a piece of it, and a foul ball off the catcher, Torrey Alba. That got the catcher pretty good. So it is 1-2 now to Luke Scott. Luke with a couple of hits in the game. He's had 2 singles. He's knocked in a run, and he struck out. So he's gone 2 for 3. Of course, the entire San Diego bullpen has been outstanding.
Almost looks like a series of misprints when you look at those ERAs and the hits and the strikeouts. It's just amazing.
Well, they certainly do take advantage of this ballpark. Here comes the pitch to Scott. A fastball up and away for a ball. We've seen several balls in the first couple of games here that I think, I'd say maybe 3 so far, the first couple of games, that in other ballparks would have been home runs. And not even the small ballparks. Here comes the pitch. Outside to Scott. So now the count 3-2. On deck is Adam Jones. In this game, Adam Jones, his 2-run home run back in the 6th inning, right now is the difference in this game. Orioles in San Diego tonight trying to get back in the win column. Kevin Millwood, right now it's his game to win. Here comes a pitch. Scott popped it up, back towards us, and back in the second deck. So to stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. On the scoreboard, in the bottom of the 10th inning, Tampa Bay 5 and the Florida Marlins 5. In the top of the 8th inning, Milwaukee 4, Colorado 4. Earlier today, the Cardinals, they beat Oakland 4-3. There's a shot up the middle, and that's a base hit to center. And Luke Scott tonight has had a 3-hit night. Up with the ball, Tony Gwynn Jr. gets it back into second base. So for Scott tonight, his 3rd single of this game. And now with 1 away, it'll bring up Mr. Jones.
It was really impressive about the first several at bats for Luke, who will be pinch run for right now, is the fact that he got it against left-handed pitching. 2 of the hits tonight coming against left-handed pitching as Corey Patterson will go out to pinch run.
Whereas Luke early in the season was just off to a terrible start. He looked miserable, and then he got going. And the Scott over his last 31 games now, he's hit about .345. That's a long time. Go to first, and Luke, not Luke, the pinch runner, back in there diving safely.
So Patterson, much better speed and can be a defensive replacement as well out there in left field.
Adam Jones mentioned 1 for 3 in this game with a 2-run home run. And now Webb delivers, and the Jones takes a knee-high strike. Jones is back in the box, and the right-hander Webb again ready. He'll look at first. He'll go to first, and again Patterson dives in at first. I mentioned Adam Jones now with 9 home runs this season. And tonight, his 4th against the National League. Count 0-1. Webb again ready. There goes Patterson. Adams swings and misses, and Torrealba dropped the ball as he came up to make a throw. So Patterson has stolen base to get himself into scoring position. And the count to Jones now is no balls and 2 strikes. So Patterson, as a pinch runner, comes up with his 10th stolen base. He has been caught just once the entire season. And now the catcher, Torrealba, and the pitcher, Webb, they talk things over. Jones now with a count of 0-2. The infield backed up now with a runner at second base. And the outfield against Jones right now really spread out. Jones back in. Webb, big right-hander, looks in, says yes. Patterson away at second. Here comes the pitch. And Jones lines it into center. That's a base hit. Patterson hesitated, and now he stumbles. He's being waved in. Here's the throw and a bounce, and they got him. Patterson stumbled as he rounded third base and then restarted and just could not get to the plate in time. Tony Gwynn guns him down. And on the plate, Jones winds up at second base.
Well, had there not been that stumble, it would have been the 6th Oriole run of the night.
Well, Patterson initially hesitated as he made his way toward third base. He looked behind him. Just to make sure the ball did drop in, it did. And then restarted, and as he rounded third base, he stumbled. It slowed him down, but then he kept on going. And now Wieters up there with 2 outs and a runner at second base. Wieters in this game is 0 for 3 as he continues his miseries. And now Webb delivers, and Wieters takes a ball that trickles by the catcher. And there goes Jones. He's going to go to third without a play. You see, that's a passed ball. That hit the glove. It will be a passed ball. It'll be charged to the catcher, So Jones able to take third.
Well, that was just, you would say laziness on the part of Torrealba. He didn't move the body, tried to backhand the ball, and couldn't handle it cleanly, and that helps the Orioles get to that runner at third base.
Well, let's see if the Orioles can cash in here. Maybe a base hit, maybe another mistake. The Orioles are ahead 5-3 on the top of the 8th inning. Wieters waits, Webb delivers, and this one low and inside for a ball. And they count 2 balls and no strikes. So we told you about Wieters and his offensive difficulties. His last 103 at-bats. There comes the pitch. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Wieters hitting about 160 in over 100 at-bats. 160. And tonight 0 for 3 on 3 ground ball outs. Runner at third base with 2 outs. Here it comes. Wieters, it's a fly ball left center. Racing over Gwynn. He'll get there in the gap to make the catch. That's it. So the Orioles get a couple of hits and a stolen base and a passed ball in the 8th inning, and they can't score. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 5-3 Baltimore here on the Orioles Radio Network. Here we go, back in San Diego, and here come the Padres. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. And right-handed Jason Birkin has been summoned into this game by Juan Samuel. We saw the lefty Will Oman. He came on in the 7th inning, gave up no runs. He gave up a hit, didn't walk anybody, got a big double play ball, had no strikeouts. So now it's up to Jason Birkin here to preserve a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Padres got the middle of the order coming up to hit. It'll be Scott Hairston, Yorvi Torrealba, and then Will Venable, all scheduled to hit. Here comes the pitch. Hairston takes a strike. Birkin picks up the inside corner. Well, they count 0-1. Hairston 1 for 3 in this game with a single and a run scored way back in the first inning. He has also struck out and popped out. Birkin delivers again, And Hairston gets a piece of it, fouled it back on the second deck. They count 0-2 now. Well, this is Millwood's game to win. Kevin tonight gave up 3 in the first inning as a result of a botched rundown play by the Orioles. And Hairston takes it a little bit too low. After that, Millwood was not scored upon. Kevin tonight goes 6 innings, gives up 3 runs, 7 hits, and a couple of walks and 5 strikeouts. And now the next offering on the way. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Jason Birkin comes in, strikes out the first man he sees.
You can't say enough for the job that Birkin has done. He's been the most steady Oriole bullpen pitcher this year. You can count on a very good effort every time he comes into a ball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, he got Hairston a real nasty breaking ball. That's his bread and butter against a right-hand hitter. Now here's the catcher, Torrealba. We'll give you the down on the farm scoreboard from Royal Farms. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms. As Torrealba digs in, and he takes it a little bit too low. Norfolk won. They beat Toledo 10-3. Troy Patton started 5 innings, gave up 1 earned run on 6 hits. Oscar Salazar had a couple of hits. He went 2 for 5 in that game. As Torrealba takes ball 2. In fact, Salazar with 2 2-run homers in that game for Salazar. Nicely done. Harrisburg, they beat Bowie 5-2. And Frederick wins over Myrtle Beach 9-1. And now Torrealba takes ball 3. The count 3-0. Torrealba with a couple of hits in the game. He's gone 2 for 3. Couple of singles. The Orioles ahead 5-3, bottom of the 8th inning. And now Birkin ready and delivers again. In there, fastball taken all the way for a strike. Well, the top of the 11th inning now. Tampa Bay 5, Florida 5. Pitch on the way, ground ball to short. There's Esturris from behind second base on to Wigginton to get the out. So Birkin got behind Torrealba 3-0, then threw a strike, and then he got Torrealba on a sharply hit ground ball right to Cesar Esturris. And now it'll bring up, let's see, Will Venable is scheduled to hit. And he will hit. Venable strictly a left-hand hitter. Birkin delivers, and he misses up and away for a ball. And Wieters immediately goes out to talk to Birkin. So they might get crossed up a little bit on that one. 1 ball and no strikes. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Milwaukee 4, Colorado 4. At the end of 3 now, Seattle 1-0 over Cincinnati on a home run by Ichiro, his 3rd. Here comes the pitch. There's a called strike. Chicago beat Washington 1-0. Jake Peavy with a complete game, 3-hit shutout against the Nationals. There's a swing and a miss. So the count to Venable now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Earlier today, the Blue Jays, they beat the Giants 3-0 as they beat Matt Cain. Kevin Gregg picked up his 18th save, and they won that game on a home run by Aaron Hill, his 10th. There's a line drive foul off to the right. The Yankees won. They beat the Mets by a score of 5-3, so the Mets winning streak, I think it's 8 consecutive games they had won, has come to an end. And Phil Hughes won that game. He and David Price are now the only 10 game winners in the American League. There's a swing and a foul back out of play.
I remember back in spring training, it was Phil Hughes and Jabba Chamberlain vying for that number 5 starter spot. That's a long, long time ago, and 10 wins ago for Hughes, who's really been outstanding for New York.
Yeah, great pitching matchup in that game. Hughes winning over Mike Pelfrey. And yeah, Rivera came in, picked up his 16th save. And now Venable swings and misses as that breaking ball again. Jason Birkin comes in. He gets him 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. A nasty breaking ball to get each of those 2 strikeouts. And so the bullpen for the Orioles here tonight getting it done. And at the end of 8 now, 5-3 Baltimore on the Orioles Radio Network. And we're back in San Diego. Hello again, baseball fans. Joe Angel alongside Fred Manfra. And, of course, Casey Willard, our producer here in San Diego tonight. Orioles are ahead 5-3. And before we continue, we're going to pause here. 10 seconds, station identification on the Oriole Radio Network. Well, the San Diego manager, Bud Black, has brought in another reliever. Right-hander Edward Mujica comes on to pitch. And Cesar Izturis up there shows bunt, but he takes a strike instead. So the Orioles at the bottom of the order. Cesar Izturis. I see Scott Moore in the on-deck circle. He'll come up to pinch hit. Swing of the fly ball. Left center. Gwynn over to his right. Makes the catch, and Cesar Izturis is retired.
Alfredo Simon warming in the Oriole bullpen.
All right, so as we said here, Scott Moore as a pinch hitter. He will hit for Jason Birkin. And we'll see Simone in the bottom of the inning. So here's the left hand hitting Scott Moore against Mujica, another of the Padre relievers who has been outstanding. As Moore takes a big swing and he fouls it away. And Mujica, and a big guy too, another big right-hander, comes on in relief. This will be his 28th appearance. His record is 2-1. And Mujica this year in 35 innings has allowed just 26 hits. And there's another one, base hit to left center. And boy, Moore hit that ball hard. Gwynn cuts it off and then gets it back into second base. And Scott Moore with a pinch hit line drive single with only one out. Now the top of the order comes up here. And Mujica, in his work so far this year, 35 innings, has had 35 strikeouts. Opponents have just barely hit 200 against this guy. But that time Scott Moore hit the ball real hard. Now we'll see what Lugo is up to here. Orioles ahead 5-3 in the top of the ninth inning. Lugo's had a big night, had a couple of hits. He's had a double, he's had a single, he's had a stolen base. He has scored twice. He's also been picked off at first base in this game. So let's see what Lugo can do to get Scott Moore up on the bases here. Lugo digs in. Mujica ready and delivers. And Lugo hits it to deep left field, head for the corner. That ball is hooking. It's a foul ball in that left field corner. Not by much, but it is a foul ball. And Lugo hit that ball real hard. Fouled by about 4 feet in that corner.
Well, Lugo's been getting some good wood on the ball over the last several ball games, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he continues to get that starting call at second base.
Yep. Well, tonight he's gone 2 for 4. Last night had a walk, a single, a steal, knocked in a run. Game before that, 3 hits in San Francisco, knocked in a couple of runs. Go to first, and again diving back in is the base runner Scott Moore. Orioles ahead 5-3 in the top of the ninth inning. Last night they had a 1-run lead in ninth inning. Let that get away. And now Lugo swing and a foul tip into the glove of the catcher Torrealba. 0-2 the count to Lugo. Mets and the Yankees beat the Mets 5-3. Teixeira hit a home run, number 11. Granderson hit a home run, his 6th. And the Mets' 8-game winning streak has come to an end. Now Lugo takes a very high fastball. The Cardinals beat Oakland 4-3. That's a final. Atlanta beat Kansas City 5-4. Troy Glaus, his 14th home run. Texas beat Houston 5-1. Minnesota beat the Phillies 13-10 in what had to be the game of the day. Throw to first too late. Minnesota got 5 in the 9th to tie it. Each team got a home run in the 10th inning. And then Minnesota won the game with 3 in the 11th inning. A total of 8 home runs were hit in that game. Lugo, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the right-hander Mojica sets again. Go to first again, and again too late. Red Sox beat the Dodgers 5-4. As Dustin Pedroia won the game with a base hit in the bottom of the 9th inning. Manny Ramirez hit a home run for the Dodgers back in Boston. Also had a stolen base in that game. Lugo swings and misses. Down he goes. So Mojica gets a strikeout. 2 gone. And now here's Miguel Tejada. Tejada in this game has gone hitless. Miguel in that Giants series was 6 for 13. Tejada coming into this game, his last 50 at-bats, he'd hit 340. But tonight he's 0 for 4.
And he's had that positive 5-game hitting trend coming into this game.
So he digs in, right-hander against right-hander, Mojica against Tejada. And now he'll step off, look to first base. On deck is Nick Markakis, but there are 2 outs. And now Torrealba goes out to talk to Mojica, and I'm sure saying, hey, don't worry so much about Scott Moore. He's not going anywhere. Concentrate on Miguel Tejada, the hitter. So Torrealba has done that and now back behind the plate.
Well, when Alfredo Simon comes on to face the Padres in the bottom of the 9th, he'll be facing the bottom 3rd of their order.
And now Mojica sets again. Tejada digs in. And this time he delivers a pitch. Pitch out. Nothing going on. So it could be that Torrealba was trying to entice the Orioles into running on that pitch. When he went out to talk to Mojica, he made a motion toward the bag at first base as if to say, hey, don't worry about that base runner. He's not going anywhere. And then they pitch out. Here's the pitch. And Tejada takes a strike on the inside corner.
A little deception.
But Samuel wasn't biting.
Nope.
Miguel Tejada, 1 ball and 1 strike. Arizona beat Detroit 6-5 today. That's a final. Pittsburgh leads Cleveland 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Go to first again too late. Tampa Bay has scored a run in the top of the 11th inning. They now lead Florida 6-5, and they have the bases loaded in the 11th inning with 2 outs. And now Mojica sets and delivers, and Tejada swings right through it. So now the count 1-2. Bottom of the 4th inning, Cincinnati 1, Seattle 1. Angels earlier today, they beat the Cubs 12-0. My goodness. Jeff Weaver wins it, gives up just 2 hits in that game, and he beat Ted Lilly, who almost threw a no-hitter in his last start. Tejada ground ball foul outside the bag at first base as he tried to check his swing. So today, Lilly was not a mystery. Angels got 12 runs on 15 hits in that game. And today, White Sox beat the Nationals 1-0 behind Jake Peavy. A complete game, 3-hit shutout. And that brings you up to date. Miguel Tejada, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mojica delivers, and Tejada swings and misses. Down he goes. Side retired, so now it's time for a little Alfredo sauce in San Diego. Simon coming in to try to pick up the save. It is closing time against the Padres as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Orioles ahead 5-3. This is the Orioles Radio Network. In San Diego, we're going to the bottom of the 9th inning with the Orioles ahead by a score of 5-3. Well, last night we saw David Hernandez get the save call. He came on with a 1-run lead, gave up a couple of runs. Orioles wound up in the loss column, so now Simon gets a save opportunity.
Well, Simon worked in the 8th inning last night facing Hairston, Scott Hairston and Yorvi Torrealba, and struck out both in the only 2 batters he faced.
Well, he'll take on Jerry Hairston here to get the bottom of the 9th inning started. Now the Padres got the bottom of the order. Alfredo Simon ready and delivers. Fastball is too high. Remember last night, David Hernandez trying to protect a 1-run lead walked the first man he saw on 4 pitches. And Hernandez after the game was furious with himself. Here comes the pitch. There's the fastball for a called strike at 95. Even up 1 ball and 1 strike. That was Chase Headley was the hitter. And Hernandez walked him on 4 consecutive pitches. And Hernandez after the game said, hey, Headley didn't even have to bring a bat with him. I mean, Hernandez wasn't even close against him. And now the next pitch is outside to Hairston. The count 2-1.
And it seems in baseball, when you walk that leadoff man in an inning, nothing good happens after that.
You got a 1-run lead. You can't do that. Hairston waits on a 2-1 pitch, and here it comes. Fastball low and outside, not close. Fastball at 96. And the catcher, Wieters, had to backhand that pitch off the top of the dirt. So now the count 3-1. Hairston tonight 1 for 3. A single that knocked in a couple of runs way back in the first inning. Right-hander against right-hander. Simone against Hairston. And here comes the pitch. Strike on the inside corner. It's called. Fastball at 96. So now 3-2 to the veteran Jerry Hairston. On deck is Tony Gwynn Jr. Alfredo Simon ready. He delivers. Fouled away. The seats off to the right. Another fastball there at 96. And now Simon ready again. The count 3 balls and 2 strikes. 5-3 Baltimore. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, little bounder, foul. Outside the bag at third base. And out of the reach of Miguel Tejada. Fouled by about 3 feet. So they do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hairston, who last year was, at least in the second half of the season, a member of that Yankee World Championship team. So he got some healthy postseason money last year. 3-2 pitch again. Fastball, he walked him. My goodness. Boy, that one just off the inside corner. So for the second consecutive game, the Orioles being given a closing opportunity, watched the leadoff hitter last night with a 1-run lead, tonight with a 2-run lead. And now here's Tony Gwynn. Gwynn tonight 1 for 3. And the pitch on the way to Gwynn. Way upstairs and outside. Boy, that one missed by a couple of feet. And Wieters goes out immediately to have a chat with Simone.
Now the Orioles will see Chris Denorfia to act as a pinch hitter coming up to hit in that number 9 hole.
Yeah, he's in the on-deck circle. Denorfia last night had a base hit, had a stolen base, and a run scored in a starting capacity last night. So here's Tony Gwynn, 1 ball and no strikes. Orioles ahead 5-3, bottom of the 9th inning. Simone is ready again and delivers. Gwynn will take the ball inside, so the count 2-0. And now the fans are getting into it here. Just under 30,000 here at Petco Park tonight. And now Simone delivers 2-0. Fastball right down the gut. And Tony Gwynn taking all the way. The count 2-1. That's a Gwynn 1 for 3 in this game. A strikeout, a fly ball out, and a single. Strictly left-hand hitter, Tony Gwynn Jr. Simone looks in, says yes. He'll set. He delivers. Fastball swung on, fouled away behind third base, back in the lower deck. So the count 3-2. Yep, another fastball. Every fastball Simone is throwing is right there at 95 or 96. But he is not varying that speed too much.
I don't think we've seen the splitter yet, have we?
That's his strikeout pitch. But with the count 2-2, he does not want to go 3-2. And now Gwynn will back away at the plate just as Simone had gone into a stretch position. And now Gwynn back in. Simone on the rubber. Looks in toward the plate. And says yes. Right-hander sets. He delivers. And the swing and fouled away. Looked like a fastball. A little dribbler off to the right. Looked like a fastball at 96 again. It was down and in. And Gwynn just got a piece of it. They'll do it again, 2-2. And now Simone. Alfredo again toes the rubber. Gwynn will take a couple of practice swings. Now they're both ready. And Simone delivers. Gwynn fouls it back just to our left. And back in the second level here. So it stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And again, a fastball at 96 from Alfredo.
So the speed is all the same. Every fastball is right there at 95, 96. And eventually they're going to time it. And now the big right-hander again ready and delivers. This one is too low. There's a splitter. But he missed with it just off the top of the dirt. So that one about 85. And indeed now the count has gone to 3-2. So Simone's got a brand new ball to work with now. He's back on top of the mound. He'll kick some dirt around. And the fans are getting louder here in San Diego. They count 3-2 to Tony Gwynn Jr. Orioles ahead 5-3. Hairston, the base runner at first base with nobody out. Simone is ready. He delivers. There's a line drive and a base hit right field. Heading for the corner. Marquez cuts it off. Hairston to third. And there goes Gwynn into second base with a sliding double. And the Padres have runners on second and third with nobody out in a 2-run game.
And again, the fastball at 95.
He timed it. On 2-2, he did throw the splitter, but he missed with it. And that's the pitch on which Simone was trying to get the strikeout. He didn't. And so now the Padres are going to send up another pinch hitter.
It's former Oriole Oscar Salazar who will pinch hit now.
And Rick Kranitz comes out for a quick visit.
Hey, look at Salazar. This will be his 50th game, a .233 average for Oscar. 1 home run, 9 knocked in. He is 5 for 25 with a home run as a pinch hitter for Bud Black. The Padres, who have made a habit this year of winning these nail-biting ball games, have the possible tying run at second base with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth, and we see David Hernandez up and beginning to throw in the Oriole bullpen.
So instead of Denorfia, it'll be Salazar coming up as a pinch hitter. Remember, Denorfia had been in the on-deck circle, so he was pulled back. And it'll be Salazar instead, with runners on second and third, and with nobody out in the bottom of the ninth inning. So now the Padres in a situation where they've got the tying run at second base with nobody out. Here comes the pitch. Salazar takes it just a little bit too high. 1 ball and no strikes. Man alive. I mean, this one can't get away, can it? Well, the answer is yes, it can. So let's see what Simone can do about that. As he will set, he will deliver. Salazar swing and a miss. That time with it might have been that split-fingered pitch to get that swing and miss. So the count to Salazar even up at 1-1.
And we know Oscar Salazar is a pretty good hitter. We saw what he could do with the Orioles in some clutch situations.
Well, Simone sets again, and here comes the pitch. Fastball in there for a call strike. He snuck one by him. Fastball at 95. It looked as though Salazar might have been looking for that either the breaking ball or the split-fingered pitch, because he was not ready to swing at that fastball. So the count is 1-2 now.
And that fastball had plenty of the plate.
It did. Salazar hitting .233 for the year. Here comes the pitch. Just a little bit low and outside. Maybe just a little bit, not by much. So the count 2-2. Salazar as a pinch hitter, 5 for 25 with a home run. So he is a dangerous right-hand hitter. He stands in. The count 2-2. And here comes the pitch. Splitter. A little bit too low. He took it. Boy, Salazar showing great patience. I mean, Simone threw him a pretty good splitter, but Salazar just would not chase it. So the count 3-2. Hairston is at third with nobody out. Tony Gwynn Jr. at second base, the tying run with nobody out. Salazar with a count of 3-2. First base is open. And now Simone ready, and he delivers. Salazar, big chopper, third base. Tejada will have to go to first. He does. Out. And the run scores. And on the play, Gwynn will take third. So it is now a one-run game. Salazar retired 5-3 as he picks up the RBI. And now the Padres, they've got the top of the order coming up to hit. David Eckstein, the leadoff hitter, who last night singled home the tying run in the ninth inning.
And he has the opportunity to do likewise here tonight. Now that leadoff walk, we talked about it and what damage those leadoff walks can do, and that's the run that came in to score and pull the Padres to within one.
Well, the Orioles are ahead 5-4 now. Let's see what the Orioles do defensively. Eckstein is a tremendous contact hitter, and they're going to bring the infield in against him. Now on deck is the switch hitter, Chase Headley. Eckstein in this game has gone 1 for 4 and had a base hit in the seventh inning. So they're going to bring the infield in. And as we mentioned, Eckstein is a real good bet to make contact. If he does with the infield drawn in like this, he has an outstanding chance to get the ball out of the infield. Here comes the pitch. Oh, look out. He got decked. Fastball up and in that almost hit Eckstein. 1 ball and no strikes. And how Eckstein got out of the way, I have no idea. Eckstein with a look at the coaching box at third base. And now back in the box. Right-hander against right-hander. And again, the Orioles have the infield all the way in. Simone ready and delivers. Eckstein takes a strike. That time Alfredo caught the inside corner at the knee. Another fastball. Now the outfield against Eckstein also shallow. Orioles ahead 5-4, but the Padres have the tying run at third base with only 1 out. Simone ready and delivers. Eckstein takes it upstairs, the ball. So now the count 2-1. Eckstein with 71 hits this season. So you know that he's a real good bet to put the ball in play. Simone takes a look and the right-hander says yes. At the belt, he delivers. Does a bouncy ball hit the shortstop? They'll hold the runner. Cesar has it on to first to get the out. So they brought the infield in, and that time Eckstein could not get the ball out of the infield. Cesar Izturia is able to backhand the ball on a short bounce, and Tony Gwynn didn't go anywhere.
Well, now it's up to Headley, who is 0 for 4 in this ball game, and up to Alfredo Simone to see if he can get the final out and give Kevin Millwood his first Oriole victory.
Well, Chase Headley, he's 0 for 4 in this game, and he has not had a hit in his last 18 at-bats. Here comes the pitch. Bouncing ball over first, a foul ball just outside the bag at first base. Wigginton diving for it, knocked it down, but it was a foul ball, no doubt about it. It was fouled by, I would say, at least 10 inches outside the bag. The fans aren't real happy about the call, but we got a pretty good angle here, and it was a foul ball.
And this time, remember back in the first inning when Headley hit one down the line, he didn't run out of the box. This time he was sprinting down the line.
We have yet to get a real good angle on a replay yet, but from here, our angle, and we're very much on the third base side of home plate. Got a real good look at it. Although certainly Headley thought it was a fair ball. And now the next offering on the way. This one is way outside and upstairs. Looked like a split-fingered pitch that may have slipped out of Simone's hand.
Yeah, it didn't split.
It just kind of floated up there. So the count even up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Orioles ahead 5-4, bottom of the 9th inning. Here comes the pitch. Headley takes the ball just outside. So now the count 2-1. Headley has had just 2 hits in 29 at-bats on this homestand. But right now into a good hitter's count at 2-1. Simone from a windup here. Runner at third base, 2 outs. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. There's that splitter. And that ball disappeared on Headley. So the count 2-2. Well, based on that result, it would figure that Simone's going to throw that splitter again. On deck is Adrian Gonzalez, so this is the guy you want. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He threw that same pitch. He struck him out, and the ball game is over, and the Orioles are back in the win column. They've beaten the San Diego Padres. Alfredo Simone comes on to get the save. He gets himself into trouble, and then he works himself out of trouble. He gets a strikeout to end it, and the Orioles have won it 5-4.
And Kevin Millwood waits to the 19th of the month of June for his first Oriole win, and he improves to 1-8. So Millwood gets his first victory in the big league since last October.
Wow, what a finish. As the Orioles congratulate themselves out there. Last night they blew a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. Well, tonight they took a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 9th inning, and it winds up a 1-run game as Simone picks up his 7th save. And indeed, for the first time this season, Kevin Millwood in the win column. First time as an Oriole. We'll be back with the lovely totals in San Diego right after this. All right, we're back at Petco Park in San Diego. And hello again, baseball fans. Joe Angel, Fred Mann for the lovely totals here tonight as they've split the first 2 games in this 3-game series. And the final here tonight, Orioles at 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. They stranded 6. Padres had 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. They stranded 7. Kevin Millwood wins it. So he is now 1-8. Millwood tonight went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs in the first inning, nothing after that. Gave up a total of 7 hits. He had a couple of walks. He had 5 strikeouts. So he wins it. And the loser is Richard, the starter, Clayton Richard for San Diego. He is now 4-4. Alfredo Simone came out, picked up the save, number 7 for him. The time of the game was 2 hours and 55 minutes. And the attendance here tonight, 28,138. The Orioles had the early lead in this game. In the top of the first inning, Lugo was safely aboard on a 2-base throwing error. And then eventually Nick Markakis, with Lugo at third base, hit a fly ball to pick up an RBI to give the Orioles in Millwood a 1-0 lead. But then in the bottom of the first inning, with 2 outs and the bases empty, Adrian Gonzalez got a walk from Kevin Millwood, and then Hairston singled. And so with 2 aboard, Yorvi Torrealba came up to hit with a runner in time as an Oriole in the win column. He tastes victory. Millwood went 6 innings tonight. The bullpen, a great job for him. Adam Jones, the big home run, and now the Orioles have a chance to make it 2 out of 3 in San Diego.
And the Orioles with a rookie on the hill tomorrow. Jake Arrieta have a chance to do something they haven't done since last September at Yankee Stadium, and that's win a series on the road. The Orioles have not done that all year, but Jake Arrieta is the perfect candidate to help the Orioles do that. He has made 2 big league starts. He beat the Yankees in his first start, and he pitched very well in beating the San Francisco Giants in his last start. So he will be on the hill for the Orioles. And for the Padres will be going with the veteran John Garland. Now, Garland in his career is 7-3 against the Orioles. However, this year, Garland has pitched well for the Padres. Garland 6-4 with a 2.81 ERA, but he is winless in his past 4 starts. The Padres having scored just 6 runs over those last 4 starts. So we'll wrap up this West Coast trip against National League ball clubs. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be on the air East Coast time at 4 o'clock. And remember, when you come to see the Orioles next week to play the Florida Marlins and then the Washington Nationals, think about coming to the ballpark via the MTA. They drop you off right at Oriole Park. They pick you up at Camden Yards as well. You can go MTA, local bus, light rail, or Metro subway. Parking and traffic hassles disappear when you use the MTA.
All right, so until the finale tomorrow afternoon, the Orioles and the Padres as they close out a 3-game set. Till then, Joe Angel, for Fred Manfra, and Casey Willett, thank you so much for the Orioles here. A wonderful night in Southern California. Here at San Diego, back in the win column as they beat the Padres 5-4. And now stay tuned. The All Access postgame show follows immediately with Tom Davis and Dave Johnson right here on the Oriole Radio Network.